Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about pre-formulation study under subject Industrial Pharmacy 1 as per 5th semester PCI syllabus. In this lecture we will discuss about crystalline and amorphous form of drug substance under segment bulk characterization in pre-formulation study. So first we start with what is bulk characterization and what type of studies are performed under bulk characterization. Now, as we know, newly synthesized drug molecules are commercially available as bulk powder, which is commonly known as active pharmaceutical ingredient or API. In pre-formulation study, bulk characteristics of a powder drug material is studied in order to develop a safe, effective and stable dosage form. For bulk characterization of active pharmaceutical ingredient, different type of bulk properties of a drug molecule such as crystalline or amorphous form, density, particle size, flow property, melting point, hygroscopicity, etc. are studied. Now we'll start with the crystalline and amorphous form of a active pharmaceutical ingredient or API. Now, the powder form of API can exist either in crystalline or amorphous state, which is based on their method of synthesis. Now, further, this crystalline form is divided into two types: polymorphic form and molecular adducts. Polymorphic forms further divided into enantiotropic polymorphism or polymorphs and monotropic polymorphs. Similarly, molecular adducts are also divided into non-stoichiometric or inclusion compounds and stoichiometric or solvates or hydrates. Now, the crystalline state of drug. Majority of active pharmaceutical ingredients are synthesized as crystalline solids. In crystalline state, molecules or atoms are arranged in highly ordered three-dimensional network. Structure of a crystalline material divided into internal structure and crystalline habit. Crystalline habit. First is what is crystalline habit? It is the description of the outer appearance of a crystal, okay, or it is the outer shape of a crystal. It is basically 6 types. Number 1 is platy, number 2 is needle like or acicular, number 3 is tabular, number 4 is equivalent, number 5 is bladed and the last one is prismatic. Next is internal structure. It is the molecular arrangements within the crystalline lattice, and the repeating three-dimensional patterns are known as crystalline lattice. Okay, it is divided into 7 types: cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, rhombohedral or trigonal. It is also known as trigonal, monoclinic, triclinic and hexagonal. Now, changes with internal structure usually alter the crystal habit, while chemical modification of the crystalline material such as converted to a salt form alter both the crystalline habit as well as the internal structure. Now, crystal habit and internal structure of a drug can affect the physiochemical as well as bulk properties of drug molecules such as flowability, compressibility, stability, etc. So, it is necessary to select the correct form of internal structure and crystalline habit to get maximum stability and therapeutic effectiveness of a particular dosage form. Next is polymorphism. Polymorphism. What is polymorphism? The ability of a solid compound to crystallize as more than one crystalline form is known as polymorphism, and the different forms are known as polymorphs. Many synthetic compounds, including drug and excipients, exhibit polymorphism. It is very common in some particular class of drugs such as in case of steroidal drugs, it is about 67%, barbiturate 63%, and sulfonamides 40%. Polymorphism is two types, enantiotropic and monotropic. Now, enantiotropic polymorphism. In this type of polymorphism, polymorphs are stable in nature and reversibly transform into each other under specific conditions like temperature or pressure. In this type of polymorphism is less observed in pharmaceutical field. Okay. Example, polymorphism of sulfur. Now next is monotropic polymorphism. This type of polymorphism is highly significant in pharmaceutical practice, and most of the pharmaceutical solids exhibit monotropic polymorphism. In this type of polymorphism, only one polymorph is stable and the other polymorphs are unstable and metastable in nature. Those metastable polymorphs are eventually transformed into stable form after a specific time period, and the transformation is irreversible in nature. The stable polymorphic form have highest melting point, chemical stability but low aqueous solubility, whereas the metastable forms have lower melting point, chemical stability but higher aqueous solubility. Now some examples of monotropic polymorphism. Chloramphenicol palmitate exists in three polymorphic forms A, B and C, out of which form B have highest stability. Sometimes due to poor aqueous solubility, the metastable form of the drug is incorporated in the formulations over the stable form to improve the dissolution and bioavailability of hydrophobic drugs. For example, riboflavin exists in three polymorphic forms 1, 2 and 3. Metastable form 3 have 20 times more aqueous solubility than stable form 1. Next is significance of polymorphism. Now, as we know, different polymorphic form exhibit different solubility profile and chemical stability. Chemical stability and solubility changes due to polymorphism can have an impact on drugs absorption, bioavailability and therapeutic activity. So, it is necessary to select correct form of polymorph during the formulation of a particular dosage form. Next is molecular adducts. During the process of crystallization, some crystalline substances tend to entrap the solvent molecules within the crystalline lattice, and they are known as molecular adducts, and they are classified in as follows. Number one is non-stoichiometric adducts or inclusion compounds. In such type of crystals, liquid molecules are trapped within the crystal structure and contain non-stoichiometric amount of crystallizing solvent. Based on the shape, there are three types. Number one is channel. Some crystalline structure contains continuous channels in which the solvent molecules are entrapped. For example, urea. Next is layers. Here the solvent molecules are entrapped in between the layers of crystal. And number 3 is cage or clathrates. Here solvent molecules are entrapped within the cavity of the crystal from all sides. Next is stoichiometric adders. In this type of crystals, the crystallizing solvents incorporated into the specific sites within the crystalline lattice and has specific stoichiometric number of solvent molecules. When the incorporated solvent is water, the complex is known as hydrates, and when the solvent is other than water, those complex is known as solvates. Sometimes they are confused with true polymorphs and hence they are also known as pseudo-polymorphs, and the phenomenon is known as pseudo-polymorphism. Now, depending on the number of water molecules present within the complex, the compounds are named as follows. First one is anhydrous. In anhydrous uh, compound, 1 mole of parent compound plus 0 mole of water. Hemihydrate, 1 mole of compound plus half mole of water. Monohydrate, 1 mole of compound plus 1 mole of water. Dihydrate, 1 mole of compound plus 2 mole of water. And trihydrate, 1 mole of compound plus 3 moles of water, and so on. Now, it is generally found that anhydrous form of a drug has greater aqueous solubility than its hydrates. This is due to the fact that the hydrates are in equilibrium with water and therefore have less affinity towards water. For example, anhydrous form of theophylline and ampicillin have higher aqueous solubility than their hydrates form. Similarly, non-aqueous solvates have greater aqueous solubility than their hydrates. The example is chloroform solvates of griseofulvin is more water soluble than their hydrated form. Next is amorphous form of drug. In these forms, the solids do not have any fixed internal structure like crystalline materials. They have atoms or molecules randomly placed similarly as in a liquid. Example of amorphous drug is novobiocin. This novobiocin is inactive in their crystalline form. Now, amorphous forms are typically prepared by rapid cooling, precipitation or lyophilization method. Next is glass transition temperature or TG. Glass transition temperature is a characteristic feature of an amorphous form when the ambient temperature is below the TG. The amorphous materials are frozen in a place and it is termed as a glassy state. Above the TG, the amorphous solid start to flow and behave as a plastic or rubber. Now, this table depicts the basic differences between crystalline form and amorphous form. Crystalline form have point number 1. Crystalline forms have fixed internal structure, whereas amorphous forms do not possess any fixed internal structure. Number 2. Crystalline forms form has less thermodynamic energy, whereas amorphous form has higher thermodynamic energy compared to their crystalline form. Number 3. Crystalline forms are more stable than their amorphous form, whereas amorphous forms are less stable than their crystalline forms. Crystalline form has less solubility than its amorphous form, and amorphous forms have greater solubility than its crystalline form. Crystalline form number 5. Crystalline form has lesser tendency to change in its form during storage. Amorphous forms tend to convert to more stable form during storage. Now, the crystalline and amorphous form of drugs, polymorphism, etc. are studied by different analytical techniques in pre-formulation study, and they are as follows. Number 1, optical microscopy. Number 2, scanning electron microscopy or SEM. Number 3, hot stage microscopy. Number 4, differential thermal analysis or DTA. Number 5, differential scanning calorimetry or DSC. Number 6, thermogravimetric analysis or TGA. And the last one is X-ray powder diffraction or powder XRD. Thank you.